So, as a life coach, so much of my work is charged with helping people bring about the changes that they're looking for in their lives with all the greater ease. And that's something I think most people don't appreciate. They think like when you're working with somebody, you're paying for time. You're not. You're paying for impact. Why in the hell would you want to work with somebody for 3 or 4 hours on a problem when somebody else could solve it in 5 minutes? Um, and I want to share with you one of the biggest tools that I've learned with regards to helping people bring about the change that they're looking for in their lives with all the greater ease. Um, and I hope as you watch this video that it'll be easy. You'll listen to what I'm saying, you'll be like, oh yeah, that just makes so much sense. You'll probably actually remember times when you did this quite naturally. Um, but unfortunately, it's almost one of these kind of human characteristics that we overcomplicate our lives as we progress into them. And so oftentimes good coaching is just actually just bringing you back a notch and reminding you of the easier way you used to do things. It can be quite lightening, quite freeing as a process. So I want to talk to you about your transformational capacity, because we all have a capacity to bring about change in our lives. But oftentimes the first mistake that people make is that they dilute it down. And what I mean by that is that they want change in their life in this area and that area and the next area all simultaneously. And that's burdensome, right? Like that's quite a lot. If you're trying to change one thing in your life, that's demanding. If you're trying to change several things all at once, that's impossible. It's exhausting. It's like it's anything. If you dilute it down too much, it disappears. Or when we stretch ourselves too much, cracks appear. And you don't want that. You want to make the change that you're looking for in your life as easy as possible. And so the first real key thing to do is to focus yourself. Figure out what it is that you want to do most and focus yourself on that. Give that your full transformational capacity, all your energy, all your attention, all your focus, and of course it becomes easier because you're not distracted by everything else. You've got all your attention to put on one thing. That makes it a hell of a lot easier, right? And that's actually, that's probably as far as most people go. Like for years, it was just like, oh, focus on whatever it is that you want and go after that with everything that you have. But there's another part to it, which is to prioritize your transformational capacity. And I actually really believe like the magic, sometimes you get into this flow where you can bash through things. Well, I think that the magic in us is reserved for what we need the most. So to make that practical, like let's look at an example of somebody who really wants to show up and work differently. They want to thrive, they want to expand. And they put all their energy, their attention, their focus onto that, but they forget that the key component in that is themselves. And perhaps if they were to focus on themselves that little bit more first and foremost, the change in work would come all the easier. And again, to make that more practical, think about it. The more you look after yourself, the better you show up in life. The better you sleep, the better you wake up. And the more yourself you are, the better you eat, the more you train, the more energy you have to do the things that you want. So if we look at prioritizing transformational energy and focusing it where it matters most, and we look at that example of work, you might want to show up and work all the differently, and you might be focusing all your attention there and get so far. But actually, there might be a calling for you to look after yourself that little bit more. And when you really look in the mirror and ask yourself, hey, what do I need most in my life right now? You might have bags under your eyes and you're still like, I want that promotion, or I want this expansion of my business. And it's like, no, you need to look after yourself now. And I think when we figure out where it is that we need to put that attention to most, that's where magic unfolds. And it doesn't just unfold in terms of bringing about a change all the more efficiently in that sphere of our lives, but it actually then flows into the next one and makes the next priority all the easier to achieve. You think about it, you focus on yourself, you sleep better, you eat better, you train better, you get all this energy. That actually starts to just impact so many other areas of your life, but bang, when you apply it to your work, you don't even need to try to show up all the better. You just naturally will as a result. I want to kind of remind you of this experiment. It's done the rounds on Instagram. We've all seen it, or I hope you have. And if you haven't, just look for like the domino experience or something like that. If you type it into YouTube, I'm sure it'll come up. But what it shows really, really well is it shows one small domino, followed by a bigger domino, followed by a bigger domino, followed by actually at the end, it's this massive slab of marble that you'd never push over. But they started with this tinchy little domino that like you'd breathe and it would knock over. And it goes to the next one, to the next one, to the next one, to the next one. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And it clearly illustrates the power of momentum. And, you know, we sometimes can be forgiven for looking at the likes of like Elon Musk or all these big entrepreneurs. How do they achieve so much? It's because they know this system. They know that they only have so much transformational capacity. And they know that if they prioritize it appropriately, and they ensure that they focus on where it's needed most first and foremost, the change in that area will make the change in the next area all the easier, the change in the next area all the easier. And with every step a momentum builds, that to the onlooker can be absolutely staggering. You might go, how does that person move these mountains? It's actually with ease. And this is what I'm wishing for you. This is what, in watching this video and giving this video some attention, I really want for you. I want you to see how actually easy things can be. There's too much struggle in life. There's too many people suffering. There's too many people frustrated with where they are and not knowing, well, how do I bring about the change that I want in my life? And oftentimes it's actually sitting right there in front of us. We might be distracted. We might think, no. I need to work on my work first. I'll look after myself second. Unfortunately, that's a downward spiral that will never serve you. You are much more important in the equation of life in every sphere than you possibly give yourself credit for. If you can figure out these priorities, and what's so nice is that oftentimes the key priority is you first and foremost. Once you look after yourself, whatever else it is that you need to look after becomes easier, and so on and so forth. And I wish this for you. I wish that you get to enjoy realizing and enjoying your full potential, and that it isn't a struggle, that it can actually be easy. And not just that, but you get to observe yourself in your flow, because we all have these moments in life where we pleasantly surprise ourselves and, oh my God, what the things they do for our ego and the smile that it naturally puts in our face. And I wish that for you. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got good value from it. I'd really love your feedback. So if there's any kind of thoughts you have, any kind of additional ideas that you would add to it, leave it in the comments below. I'll come back to you. And otherwise, I just wish you so well, and I look forward to sharing with you again soon.